Today on the Ever Onward podcast, we have Matthew Rabe and Heather Hamilton Post. They are the publisher and editor of the new magazine, Idaho Guide. This is going to be fun. We're talking about a new magazine formerly known as Idaho Magazine, now Idaho Guide. You've seen it everywhere in grocery stores, at the airport. But this is the future of the lifestyle magazine and business magazine here in the Treasure Valley. And we'll have them on to talk more about Idaho Guide. Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up?
This is awesome.
We're excited to
I'm
be here.
super stoked to talk about this. It's been fun watching you guys do your thing. So we're here today with Matthew Rabe, Heather Hamilton Post, the publisher and editor of ID Guide.
That's
One right
right
here for those on YouTube.
That's right.
So this has been a really exciting few months, and can't wait for you guys to talk about it. But a little background in the media company you have, Uptempo. The idea that the old Idaho Magazine was kind of available from Karen Day to be purchased, and you bought it, rebranded it. Heather came over with it and been working your tails off, but it's exciting. The issues are awesome. So tell the story.
You know, Heather's going to do a lot better job because Heather literally, I'll just start talking about you first, but
sure.
The last 6 years basically been part-time on the Idaho Magazine. And, as our chief editor of the magazine now, you're full-time putting together the stories, truly crafting what this end product that everyone sees now on the shelf. This is what Heather does day in and day out. And so, let's talk about how we got here though, Heather. How did you first get involved in ID Guide to kind of help tell where we're at now?
In ID Guide or
in Idaho?
Yeah,
Idaho to ID Guide.
Sure. So I met Karen because she was doing some technical writing in my previous life as a technical writer and editor. And we had a mutual friend, and she was looking for someone to help on her film. So I was just doing a few things there. The editor, who had only been there for a month or two, quit. And I was already there. So I sort of stepped into the role, having not really done it in a formal way before. But I've always been a writer. I've always been an editor since as long as I can remember. So it's just kind of a good fit. And we just kind of went from there. And, 6 years later, 7, here we are. So.
And Heather's truly, there's multiple times a day where we'll just pop out from the office and be like, hey, so how do we say what we want to say, and we'll do that in a variety of different contexts.
Have you always been so good at it, content creation?
My mom found a cassette tape from when I was 5 years old, and I was walking around my great-grandparents' ostrich farm in Wyoming, and I was recording the animal sounds, and I was asking my younger sisters questions and asking the adults around me questions. So I think I've always been sort of drawn to this level of storytelling, and I've always kind of had a knack for words. I'm passionate about it. I love it. I can't imagine doing anything else, and I feel so lucky to get to do it full time with such an awesome creative team here. So
you're really, really good at it. I think early on, I remember saying to Matthew, I'm like, hey, this is going to be awesome, but man, I hope this Heather's good. And then when you were, I was like, we're going to be okay. It's a big deal. It's a big job, right? So pulling together, it's a monthly magazine. So let's talk a little bit about it. Idaho came out. What was the cadence of the Idaho magazines? It was
about 8 to 12 times a year. Roughly. You wrote it.
It varied over the years.
Yeah. So a variety of different issues. And there was 3 different magazines technically, actually. So there was Idaho, and then there was the home and real estate, outdoor, home and garden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there was flavor. And so there was 3 different kind of versions of the magazine. And so, when we bought the magazine earlier this year, it was looking at the full picture and saying, okay, there's 3 different publications here. There's a cadence that's happening, but how do we kind of streamline it And so we took basically all three of those magazines and combined it and say, well, we really need to provide consistency for readers. So let's do a monthly magazine. And then that's also kind of how we resulted into a heavier lift magazine. So we do about 80 to 100 pages every issue, so every month. And that's it's a combination of stories from across the state of Idaho, but truly focused on the state and who's here and the people that are here and the businesses. And so it's been fun to pull together every month, but definitely going from the cadence you were at to where we're at now, where it's maybe we've hit the gas a little harder. I don't know, Heather, what do you think?
Yeah, people always ask me, is it hard to fill a magazine that big every month? And my answer is absolutely not. I have a list of 100 stories that could go in there at any time. So it's a lot of work, but it's work that we are excited to do. It's work that we love to do.
And what I love, like Matthew, you're like a master storyteller. And I think if you look at up-tempo and what you do, you tell stories, you build brands, right? That's what you do. And you do that with videography and stories and whatever. And then it's been fun to watch the kind of this all come together because Heather, that's your tell story. You're a storyteller in writing, right? And I think ultimately the platform is going to be, you've got these beautiful magazines that come out every month, and then you have an online presence. And I think that's key because that's the world we live in. But I do believe there's still something. I was in the airport last week. And you guys have a giant display in the airport. It's a beautiful display. So over right by the Einstein Bagels right out front, you'll see ID Guide. You got all your magazines there on display that people can pick up. The magazines are free. But just walking by or going to get my bagel and watching everyone sitting there reading the magazine, I got all happy and like, this is so cool. I think people still like touching, feeling, holding something. But there is an online version at this as well, right?
Yeah. A variety of things to speak to. That this is literally like the crux of why we're doing this. I mean, I'd start actually with, yes, we love storytelling. I think there's a variety of different ways to do that. Kind of the tagline that we've been running with since we've launched the magazine is living your story or live your story. I mean, and encouraging people to tell their story, however that may be, or to start telling their story or documenting their story so that others can benefit from it. It also encourages positivity. It encourages, people to get out in the world and to actually do things that make a difference. So I think storytelling is definitely the key focus of our magazine. And like Heather said, I mean, there's not enough opportunities for us to tell all the stories that are out there. And so then on top of that, yes, launching the digital platform and that side of it, it's been fun. So obviously the physical print magazine is kind of our, it's the base. It's the thing that will always be there for us. And looking at it and saying, okay, well, how do we bring this to digital in a real way? Not just maybe a PDF flip book that people can go through online. We, of course, have that too. But it's, how do we utilize the platforms of how people consume content today? So how can you read a full article on our website and, take the written copy, bring that onto our website. So every single article that's in here is on its own dedicated page on the website. And that provides just easy reading for people to hop in and read the content that we have. It's got a search feature, so you can search words or topics, and things will come up from different stories from all the different issues. But then, yeah, of course, we're on social media. We are email campaigns, things like that.
I love that. I was hoping you were going to say that because you really have the print, which is kind of the old school, hey, print, here it is, touch it, feel it. The website has been incredibly, in a short period of time, it's a go-to, but the social media channels also very robust. They're out there. Yeah. It's been really cool. One of my favorite parts is the covers because I'm not in on your interior meeting. So every once in a while I'll sneak by Heather's desk and I'll say, what's the cover of this month? And she'll unveil it. But, you started with what I think was a super creative cover. Matthew, do you want to talk a little bit about that and the story?
Yeah, absolutely. The first cover of ID Guide, it was definitely some pressure in the sense that we wanted to make something that was very intentional, that was very creative, of course, but then also something that everybody that lived here would hopefully appreciate. And so no matter who you are or what walk of life you choose to have. It was something that was inclusive in that way. And, what that resulted in was our first cover here, which is obviously in front of us here, but it was recreating the Idaho state flag design that was actually hand drawn by a woman. And it's the only state flag in the entire country that was hand drawn by a woman. So it was a fascinating story, and Heather was able to write, the complementing piece that went along with us recreating the image. But, we brought in the full team, and, we had Jacqueline Rice, we had Josh Johnson, we had, Danny Kerr from our team. We had a full staff team, and we wanted to really do everything that we could to creatively bring this first cover to life and do something that maybe hasn't really been done before. And so, picking the location, what they were wearing, everything was very intentional in this first cover. And it's also, imagining us going from not having a magazine to this is our first cover. We wanted to make something that was truly a coffee table. What is that? It piques interest, and somebody wanted to pick that up. And so that was kind of how do we create something that is meaningful, intentional, beautiful, and it
turned out so
this is the
awesome.
Result. So,
and then the storytelling behind the cover was awesome too.
Thank you. Yeah. I really love the story of how the flag came to be, because the person who designed it, like so many Idahoans, actually was not born and raised here. She was someone who had moved here from somewhere else. She, like so many people who move here, came to visit friends, really liked the area, stuck around, and ended up designing our state flag. So it's kind of a cool story that I think is really reflective of so many people that come here, of the great variety of people that make up our state. And we want to celebrate all of those people. And I think that cover image was a really good way to sort of introduce that to everyone.
It was just awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The second one was Tamarack.
Yeah.
And a boat on the cover that I think was just another phenomenal one. And then the one that just came out was the Boise balloon.
Yeah, the Spirit of Boise.
Spirit of Boise deal.
Yeah, it's been kind of fun to definitely. The covers definitely do drive, a lot of what people initially see with the magazine. So that first impression of should I stop to care, basically, about what this magazine is. And I think a lot of the ways that's why that cover definitely drives, a bulk of it.
Talk about distribution. So the magazines are everywhere. I've seen them everywhere, but specifically talk a little bit about where you can find the magazines and how that's been.
Yeah. So first I'll shout out Doris, who is our main point of distribution. She's got an incredible story. She's been in the Treasure Valley forever and in the advertising world. But she too is, 70 plus, and she loads her car up every month, actually multiple times a month, and she distributes all throughout the Treasure Valley. So we also distribute primarily in the Boise Airport, like you said. So we go through about 5,000 copies every month in the Boise Airport alone, and then outside of that, it's about 3,000 copies that are distributed. In other places, primarily in the Albertsons in the Treasure Valley. So there's about 27 locations there that it's distributed in. And then there's also Whole Foods, natural grocers. There's media boxes in downtown Boise. And then there's a variety of different businesses and companies that are here locally that they either request a box or they're an advertiser in the magazine, so they want to distribute in their place of business. And then as we've looked to grow, so our second cover, as an example, with Tamarack, we said, how do we distribute where your place of business is as a way to grow, exposure with Tamarack? And so we took, about 1,000 copies of our 8,000 we distribute, and distributed those in Valley County. And so we're on all the main spots that you can think of around McCall and Cascade and Donnelly, and so grocery stores up there, hotels, all the main points where there's traffic. And so as we look to grow the magazine, look for different, businesses are here, I think we'll look to do the same thing with distribution and say, how do we, grow our footprint here in the state and look for ways, places where people live and work and play and want to pick up this piece of this publication that we've been putting together. So
It's super positive too. I like the stories you're telling. Every one of them are just, they're like awesome. They're like, I want to read more. Give me more of this because it's so good. Do you enjoy that part of it?
I love that part of it. I think what I loved about Idaho and what I love about ID Guide is that I get to talk to people who are really passionate about the thing that they're doing. And maybe it's the business that they founded. Maybe it is a new dish that they're cooking in their restaurant. Maybe it is a comic they've drawn or a new art form they're taking on. It's really fun to talk to people about the things that they care about the most. And I will never, ever get tired of that. I write, 4 to 5 stories every issue. And it's always so fun to have those conversations about the things people care about.
It's awesome. So it's not just storytelling. It's kind of, it's inspirational, right? And then talk a little bit about you feature companies in here, right? So that's the other thing. So like Tamarack was on the last issue, but the opportunity for companies out there listening, it is a great way to get your brand out to the marketplace in a time when, people are honestly trying to figure out, okay, how do I get customers? How do I get awareness of my business? And what do I do? And that's the business model behind it, right?
Yeah. So obviously we talked a lot about the covers themselves. But then inside of there with the 100 other pages that we have full is, like we said, primarily story, but then with companies that we're looking to also bring into the magazine because we are a free publication that and you can grab it off the shelf at no cost. That means we're fully backed by ad dollars. So companies that are in the Treasure Valley or that are statewide that are looking for exposure in a print publication, but then also in the digital opportunities that we have, absolutely, it's a place for those companies to come in and look for those exposure opportunities. And it's been really cool to see how people that believe in what we have and see how it's a match for their company. And they can say, oh yeah, we love this place. Like this is how it fits for us. And definitely open for advertisers. Would love any and all people to reach out.
Yeah. What's the URL so people that want to get more information?
Yeah, so idguide.com. And, we have our media kit online for people to ask about advertising, but then also just to read these stories and to understand what we have to offer as a publication.
It's awesome. What are you looking forward to in the upcoming issues, Heather?
Oh gosh, we've got a lot of really fun stories. We have a great story about Treasure Valley roller derby. That's a lot of fun. I'm writing something about skydiving, which I did, but it was 20 years ago.
Hey, those roller derbies, you don't mess around with those folks.
Yeah.
I had, it's a funny
They're
story.
amazing.
It's a funny story, but I don't even know if she's around anymore, but I used to have a nurse in the ER with me that she was in the ER very quiet and, unassuming and great professional nurse. She was awesome. But one day we're just sitting there chit-chatting and she's like, oh, I'm doing my roller derby this weekend. I'm like, dude, roller derby? And so she like pulls out pictures and she's like, oh yeah. Yeah. She starts showing me pictures and her nickname was Nurse Naughty. I'll never forget it because it just was like so out of character. I'm like, what? She's like, oh yeah. She's like this semi-pro roller derby person. So I look forward to that one because I did not know this thing existed and it's a big deal.
They've got a whole culture around it that's pretty interesting. But we're also, can we talk about our cover story?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're doing a cool story with Teton Valley Brands and Cranny Farms. So looking at the launch of a new potato chip, some of the chips that they have out. We were eating them this morning. They were extremely delicious. So we're really looking forward to that. That'll be a cool partnership.
It's hard not to talk covers because they're so exciting, but we'll also have some outdoor brands, some very prominent outdoor brands coming this fall. And, that's cool because we're trying to say, who's right here in the Treasure Valley that people may not know are from the Treasure Valley, but have international brands. And so there's some really exciting things that will come in these next few issues.
Wow, I just love it. Well, it's been you know, I guess when you do something new, it's always a little harder than you think it's going to be. It always takes more work, more time,
Sure.
more effort. It's been fun to watch you guys rally and just like completely kill it at this, because it's been fun to watch these things pop out. They're beautiful. They're beautiful magazines.
Yeah.
In fact, Shannon was like, we need a third copy, because she's keeping them all on our coffee table at home, because they are. I mean, they speak to Idaho, what Idaho is. So if anyone hasn't seen them, those are all the locations they're at, or look online. Contact Matthew or Heather for any information. And any closing thoughts?
Heather, you want to go first?
I'm just happy to be doing this. This is cool. You know, it's really fun to tell these stories and to get to know our community even better. I've grown up here, lived here my whole life, and I still learn about new things, new people, new experiences in the state. And I'm so happy to share
We have
that.
such great people, don't we?
Such great people.
And so many stories to tell. And it's just fun to, especially the ones that never would get recognized or a story told. I love that part of it. Do a great job.
Thank you.
Matthew?
Yeah. No, I think, you know, with any individual or business or brand or organization, you know, you do have a story. You have a story to tell. And, you know, we hope that we can help in the ways that we're capable of to help you share that story. So we just, you know, I encourage everybody to start, you know, telling their story or looking for ways to get it out there. And we'd love to help in that way by using what we have as a tool, hopefully for the betterment of the state.
At the end of the day, it's really the community, right? I mean, it's a way of expressing art and the beauty of our community in a way that it gets exposure. And we live in the best place on the planet, just the very best place. There's nowhere like this Treasure Valley and Idaho and what it means. And just to be part of that's cool, but to celebrate it monthly, it truly is a blessing to do that.
Yeah. And I would add into this, I wanted to make sure we said this today, because print is not dead.
No.
You know, it's very much like a vinyl record or like a potato. I mean, it's, you know, there is still, you know, this foundation of people like real, you know, we always say people like authentic people, and we like this authentic, real thing. And, you know, for us, I think a print magazine is that in a different way. You know, for us, it's saying you can tangibly grab this thing, flip through it, and learn about the people that are here, learn about the businesses that are here. And you
still can consume the other way, which is laying in bed scrolling. And
you can still doom scroll all day.
You can still doom scroll
all day.
And in the middle of doom scrolling about whatever crud's out there, you can always click on an inspiring ID guide story. But there is something to be said to just looking through a magazine.
Yep.
All day.
You can read it on the airport. You don't have to have an internet connection. You're good to go.
That's right. Amen. All right. Thanks for coming on, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.